Pica Poco Kitchen. Today we're making pescadillas. Vámonos! And we're back at street market food. Pescadillas, unlike any other superhero that I know, have an unknown origin story. Some people speculate that they might have been born in Acapulco in the coasts of the Pacific Ocean, while others attribute them to Veracruz in the Gulf of Mexico. It might have been both because great minds think alike. What is for sure is that you can find them in any coastal city all around Mexico. You will find them with the freshest and most available fish they have. In Acapulco, they make them with dogfish, while in Veracruz, they make them with red snapper. But you don't have to worry, there's no specific rule, so you can use whichever fish you like and whatever you have available. But you said street food market, you may exclaim. And well, being an inner city gal like myself, it only took for me to go outside, walk a couple of blocks, find my favorite street market, get to the closest seafood vendor, and I will find a spot to enjoy this crunchy delight. But I won't make you walk blocks because I'm gonna teach you how to make them yourself in the comfort of your own home. So let's get to it. Alright, we're gonna start by cooking the fish. I'll be using 3 fillets of whiting. I'm gonna cook them directly on the pan, and this is not the traditional way. But since this is a very delicate fish, I decided to go for pan. I also think it brings a little bit more flavor. If you are using a firmer or more dense fish like a mahi-mahi or some types of cod, you may do it the traditional way, which is by boiling it straight in water with salt, pepper, a little bit of garlic, a piece of onion, and a bay leaf. On the other hand, if you're using a cod or a flounder or even tilapia, you may go either way. I will be removing the skin of my fish because honestly, I don't like it and I don't want it or need it for this. When my fish is ready, I'm gonna remove it and set it aside. Using the same pad with fresh oil, I'm gonna add half an onion that I finely diced. I'm also gonna add 1 clove of garlic from my fresh frozen batch, and if you're asking, I did leave some whole. Thank you for reminding me. I will also be adding 1 big Roma tomato diced, and here is my fish that I just shredded using 2 forks. And right at the end, with the heat off, I'm gonna add a little bit of jalapeño. You can add serrano if you want it spicier. I don't want to cook it because I want it to remain crunchy. Season again, remove and put it aside in a bowl. Once cold, add 2 tablespoons of cilantro. I don't want my cilantro to cook and wilt. Now let's move on and make some tortillas. If you have access to a tortilleria, go ahead and buy them. Since I don't, I'm gonna make them myself. And we're gonna start like always with 1.5 cups of masa harina and 1.25 cup of warm water. Give it a good mix until the flour is well hydrated. Add a little bit more water if you feel like you need it until your dough feels exactly like Play-Doh. We're gonna set it aside, cover it with a film or a wet kitchen towel so it doesn't dry out, but we're gonna let it rest before making the tortillas. I want to make real small tortillas, so my testales are 1-inch diameter. I'm making sure to press them well, and here I am super happy using for the very first time my newest pan, exactly like the old one that I have, but I love it so much that I needed another one. I've had this pan for probably a year and I haven't used it because you know how you wait until the right time to use the newest thing? Until I realized I guess I forgot to give it a wash. And the tortillas picked up some metallic looking specks that I didn't like, so I took it off, let it cool, gave it a proper wash, and brought it back. So that was a waste of 2. perfectly good tortillas. Anyway, here I am back at it, making sure to press well my tortillas and placing them in my very clean hot pan. And let's do a revisit on making tortillas really quick to make it easier to remove from the plastic. Lift the plastic both sides carefully right before placing them just barely in your fingers. You're gonna set it on your very hot pan and flip them over once they have changed color. We're gonna flip them again and give them a little tuck in the center so they start puffing. Sometimes they're gonna puff a lot, sometimes they're gonna puff a little. This is gonna depend on how even the pressure you apply to them when you were making them. But it really doesn't matter if they puff a lot or a little. Once they have the belly formed, you're gonna place them in your tortillero or in a little basket wrapped up with a kitchen towel so they remain pliable. To make the pescadillas, I have my station ready and my frying oil at the perfect temperature between 350 and 375 Fahrenheit. And because I know you are dragones just like me, you are going to be tempted to overfill the pescadillas, but don't do it. Fold it in half in the shape of a quesadilla and using toothpicks, seal both ends. Be slow and gentle, otherwise you run the risk of tearing the tortilla. I find it easier to go corner and up, both sides, but it's all going to depend on the pliability of your tortillas. So if you put them and they're cold, make sure to wrap them with a humid kitchen towel and place them in the microwave. So I would definitely stay away from yellow corn tortillas, the ones that they sell at the supermarket. So only buy them if you can get them from a tortilleria. Place them in your oil, careful to not overcrowd, give them a flip once they're golden, and when they're ready, let them sit in a plate with paper towels. And the best moment to consume them is right after you fry them. If you plan to make them ahead, you can reheat them in a toaster oven or your air fryer. Fun fact, I had leftover fish for 2 more tacos, but not 2 more tortillas. Every time I make any type of seafood tacos, I like to have some chipotle mayo on hand because I think it pairs really well. So I have a quarter of a cup of mayo and 1 or 2 chipotle peppers. I can't recall because it's what I had left in my jar. I'm gonna give it a rough mix with my immersion blender. And if you have leftovers, you can store it in your fridge and make sandwiches or tortas with it as well. Another good pairing for these kind of tacos is cabbage. I have 1 cup of cabbage, is the one that you get in the pack that's to make coleslaw, so a little bit of carrot comes with it, which is perfectly fine. Mine had exactly 2 tiny crumbs of carrot. And please, please, please don't forget to remove the toothpicks from your pescadillas before serving them. I gave them a nice cover of cabbage, a little rub of the chipotle mayo, and of course, avocado. Always, always avocado. Get the juiciest slime you can find and cut it into thick wedges. Another must, in my opinion, is salsa Valentina. Salsa Valentina goes perfectly well with seafood. If you haven't tried it, give it a go. I love this one with popcorn as well and many other chips and snacks. Definitely one of the salsas that live in my fridge. You can serve individually or place them in a board. And there you go. And here you have them. Crunchy and delicious. If you are a fan of fish tacos, which by the way, I have a video on that. Go and check that one. This is going to be for you. I have to say that even my husband, who doesn't like fish as much, gave them a solid 8. So he seemed to enjoy them, and I totally adore them. So let's dig in. Some lime, it is enforced. They are perfection. I have no words to describe them. They are so good, and you can not stay without trying them. I really hope you enjoy this recipe just like this video. Please share it with your friends, like, subscribe, and be notified. And for more, follow me on the socials. Adios, amigues.